Good morning. Nisarga, you are at your hometown, huh? Okay. How's the internet connection? Fine only. Okay. So today what we will do is we will do numericals on the chapter AC. Okay. So the most basic type I will discuss first, and from there only you may get any two. Okay. So there are many things that you can find. The first type is they will give you some few basic quantities like L, C, and R, and they can ask you many things. So out of that, they may ask you in exam for one question, either two or three. So that is one type. After that, the second type is some different, not like it is not like directly based on one formula, but it is based on some concept. So that also I will discuss. And the last one is transformer. Okay. So that is the first thing is the first type, numericals on AC. Okay, please write down. And whatever problems I do, please practice now only, so that later you don't have to spend too much time. So the first type of problem is where they give you a LCR circuit with a AC source. Okay, so they will mention, they may not draw diagram, but they will mention LCR AC circuit. If it is AC circuit, there will be a AC source. So this is L, C, and R. So for L, let us take some examples. Let's say 1 millihenry, and C is let's say 6 microfarad, and R is equals to 10 ohm. Okay. So these are the values which are given, L, C, and R. Now for this AC source, how they will mention is, they will mention it is 220 volt, 50 hertz. Like this, they will mention in the exam. So when they write 220 volt for this AC source, what voltage it represents? Peak voltage or RMS voltage? Always it represents RMS voltage. Okay, always. So in AC, whatever values of AC are mentioned, it is always RMS values. Understood or not? That is why it is called root mean square value. Okay, it is the one that is measured by the instrument. So AC instrument will measure the RMS value of alternating quantity, and therefore whatever value of this voltage they mention, that will always be your VRMS. So VRMS is 220 volt, and this is your frequency or angular frequency, F or omega. This is your F or omega. It is F. Okay, omega will be in radian per second. Frequency will be in hertz. So frequency is 50 hertz. Okay, so Nisarga, be careful about this. Whenever they mention any alternating voltage, it always means RMS value. For example, suppose they may ask you find the current in the circuit. If they say find the current in the circuit, again, which current you have to calculate? You have to calculate RMS current, not peak current or instantaneous current. So always remember that. So given these quantities, so these quantities are given to you, what they can ask you? Many things they can ask. The first thing is they can ask you impedance. Okay, that is the first thing they can ask. Then they can ask you current. Okay, if they say only current also, it means always RMS current. IRMS. Then they can ask you phase difference. Phase difference. Okay. Then they can ask you power factor. Power factor is removed or it is deleted topic. Huh? I think it is there. So power factor, then power consumed, they may ask you average power. average power consumed, and what else they can ask. So these are the main things. Okay, now most important ones are impedance and current. Okay, but still, if they ask phase difference and power, you can still calculate. It is very easy. So please write down the question. And everyone take your calculator out. We will try to solve it now itself. Power factor is deleted. Huh? Okay. So then power factor is deleted. So we will do impedance, current, then phase difference and average power. Done. Writing part is done. Please practice now only. Everyone, whoever is there in the class right now, please take your notebook, pen, paper, and start doing it. First, tell me, writing part is over or not? Remember the value of L, C, and R. Okay. So L is 1 millihenry, C is 6 microfarad, R is 10 ohm. Okay. Okay. So how will you start the problem? The first thing is you have to remember last class I have done some important derivations, right? So using the formulas, whichever we derived, that only we have to use. So the first thing we will calculate is inductive reactance. Inductive reactance matlab XL. So that is equal to formula L omega, that is L 2 pi F. Okay, omega is 2 pi by T. 1 by T is frequency. So like that you need to remember. So the first thing we calculate is inductive reactance, which is nothing but the opposition to AC by inductor. Now what is the inductance? 1 millihenry. So milli matlab 10 power minus 3. 2 into 3.14. And frequency, of course, it was given 50 hertz. 50 hertz. So that will be 3.14. 2 into 50 is 100. 100 will have 2 zeros. So this will be 10 power minus 1. So it will be 0.314. Check one, students, all of you. Is this correct? Okay. So this is your inductive reactance. Let me write it down here. 144. Okay. So after we calculate inductive reactance, then we have to calculate capacitive reactance. This will be little tricky because it will be in the denominator, right? So what is the formula for this? 1 by C omega. So it is equal to 1 by C into 2 pi F. Then you have to put values. Now C is given 6 microfarad. So 6 into 10 power minus 6. 2 into 3.14 into frequency is 50 hertz. Right? So now what you do, you take this 10 power minus 6 up. So if you take that 10 power minus 6 up, you will get 10 power plus 6 divided by this into this into this into this. Can you tell me how much it will come? Otherwise, let me also do myself only. So let us do 6 into 2 into 3.14 into 50. So I am getting 1884. Right? 530. Huh? How? 6 into 2 into 3.14 into 50. Oh, final answer you are saying. Huh? Then you divide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divided by 1884. So 530.785. Correct? Huh? 530.785. After decimal point, always write 3 decimal places. After the point, write 3 decimal places in board exam. Don't write more than 3 also. then this value came very small. Okay, so if I had given 100 millihenry, it will be nice, because right now this is very small compared to this. So actually in entrance exam you can neglect this compared to this, but in board exam you have to still do it. Okay, so XC we got. Now after we have calculated XL and XC, the first question we will start answering. The first question was impedance, right or not? So the formula for impedance is root over R square plus XL minus XC whole square. Okay, we have done the derivation already. So R value was, if you remember, 10. XL is very small, 0.314 minus 530.785 to square it. Now don't worry if this is smaller than this, because there is a square here. Square is there. So once you square negative number, it will become positive number, right? Okay. So this will be 100. This will be 100 plus this difference will come how much? Let me write bigger minus smaller. 530.785 minus 0.314 is coming this much into same thing we have to square, right? So 530.47. So I'm getting around 281 like that. Let me try once more. 530.785 minus 0.314. So that difference is coming 530.471. Then I have to multiply again with same thing, 530.471. So that is coming 281,399.482. Then I have to add with this 100. Right? And then I have to take square root of this. So square root. So that will come 530.565. Check once, all of you. So that is the final answer. Correct? No? Huh. Now, one thing you notice, suppose how such questions come in your board entrance exam. Then what you can notice is this is very small compared to this, you see? Right? So therefore, and even 100 is not that large compared to this. So when you do the whole calculation, the answer is coming very close to this on this. So if the options are very far, you can easily pick the one which is closest to this. Anyway, so this is the first part. After we find impedance, then we can now find the next thing, which is current. So to find the current IRMS, you have to use Ohm's law. VRMS divided by Z. Okay, because Z is the total opposition to current. So Z is playing the role of resistance, remember, in LCR circuit. VRMS was 220. Z was how much? Anyone? I forgot. 530 it was. Point how much you tell? 565. 565. Then whatever answer comes, you can see, check. 220 divided by 530.565. 0.415 ampere. Okay. After 4, there is 6. Okay. So I made it one digit more. 0.41. Okay. I think I forgot to tell you some few things. After this, they can ask you some other extra things. Okay, this I did not mention in the question, the first question. And that is, see, try to understand. This is the current in the circuit. And this voltage is the applied voltage, right? Let me just remind you, this is your LCR. So the voltage 220 is the voltage applied by the source. But they can also ask you voltage here, the voltage here, and voltage here. So that also let us try to do it. So this is LCR. So they may ask you voltage across inductor. Okay, for that you use Ohm's law only. So VL will be equal to I into R. But who plays the role of R? XL. Understood or not? And since they just told you voltage, it means RMS you have to calculate. RMS means you have to multiply current with resistance. But who plays the role of resistance for inductor? XL. Okay, so these quantities we have already calculated. 0.415 into XL, 0.314. So something in volt you will get. Okay, so like that they can ask you voltage across inductor. Then they can also ask you voltage across capacitor, VC. Same formula you will use. Only thing is XL you will replace by XC. Both the values we have calculated, so you can do it yourself, right? And the last thing is voltage across resistor, VR, IRMS into R. Okay, so all these values you calculate yourself. Again, I'm telling you, everything they will not ask. 2 or 3 they will ask. Okay, so whatever they ask, you should be able to answer. Okay. After that, what was their phase difference, right? So for phase difference, part C, no? For phase difference, we will use this formula, 10-5 formula check. We have calculated. What was the formula? Here, be careful. The bigger one you write first. Otherwise, minus answer will come, which is not nice. Okay, so you write XC minus XL divided by R. Actually, the formula was XL minus XC. But here, since XC is more, you write XC minus XL. So XC was 530 point something. XL is 0.314 divided by R is 10. Okay, so this answer, whatever comes, that will be your 10-5. Now, if you are lucky in exam, you may get here like something like 1 by root 2 or something. Okay, 1 by root 2. What are you getting? 553.0224. 53.022. So this is your 10-5, then 5 will be 10 inverse. 53, 37. 53 was a very good angle, no? In that triangle, you remember? 37, 53. You remember this triangle? For entrance, I have taught you. So 37 means opposite side will be 3. 53 means opposite side will be 4. And here opposite side of 90 will be 5. So tan of what will be 53 degree? Opposite by adjacent, 4 by 3. Oh, no. Sorry. I am doing one stupid mistake. This is angle actually. Okay. So I was thinking this is 4 by 3. So you have to keep it like this only. You cannot solve it. Okay. I thought this is in degree. Okay. This is not degree. This is in degree. So this should be 53 degree. Then you can find, then you can use that triangle. If this is 53 degree. If this is 53, how you can use? So you have to keep it here only. No problem. Okay. Part D is deleted. Power factor is deleted. And the last part is power consumed. Power consume formula, you just remember whatever you did in current electricity chapter. Only thing is I you replace by IRMS. So usually you write I square R, yes or no? Prakriti, this is the formula we write for power in resistor, yes or no? I square R. Ha. For AC chapter, what you do, you replace this by IRMS. Okay, so you already know what is IRMS. What was the current? Can you tell me? We will check how much power is consumed. What was the current? Somebody 0.415. 0.415 square it, and R is 10. Zero 0.415 into 0.415 into 10. 1.722. Okay. So you can see very simple problems are there, not too much complicated. Just we need to know the formula. And formula anyways you have to remember because you have to derive those formulas. So while deriving, you can easily remember. Okay, now, so as I told you from AC chapter, these are the given quantities. L, C, R they will give. Then they will give you applied voltage with frequency. And that voltage is RMS voltage. And from there, they can ask you impedance, current. They can also ask voltage across resistor, inductor, capacitor, like that. Then they can ask you phase difference. Then they can ask you power, average power. Okay. Another thing they can do, the second type. This is the first type. The second type of problem you can expect is they will give you L, they may give you R, they will give you C, okay? And they will also give you applied voltage. Okay, so this means VRMS, remember. And let's say L is, this time let me take 100 millihenry, R is 20 ohm, C is 10 microfarad. And applied voltage is 220. Now look carefully, students. In this problem, they have not given frequency. Check once. In this problem, they have not given frequency. Are you clear or not? So if frequency is not given, you cannot find XL, XC, and all those things you cannot find. Are you clear or not? So what they will ask you? Here they will ask you, the question will be to find resonant frequency. Resonant frequency. Okay, now how they will use the sentence? They may tell you, find the frequency of the source which will drive the circuit to resonance. So the moment you hear that word resonance, then forget other things, forget other things. Just you understand that whatever frequency they want is resonant frequency. Okay, sometimes we call it natural frequency also. And then first thing they may ask resonant frequency, then they may ask you impedance and current at resonance. Okay, so same thing, whatever we did before, impedance and current we found or not, same thing, but at resonance. Which do you think this is more easier than previous one or more difficult? This is more easier. You will come to know because at resonance, some few things happens, which I will explain now. First, you write down. So these are your given data. Okay. Again, sometimes out of the 3, 1 may be missing. Okay, sometimes L will be missing, sometimes C will be missing in the previous question. Then wherever L I wrote, you put 0, XL. And wherever XC I wrote, XC, you put 0. Done? Writing part is done? Done, Maya? Writing part is done? Question part? Okay. So now let us see how to solve this. But before we solve this, let us try to remember, solve a concept. Let us see concept. So if you remember, we derived this formula, IRMS equal to VRMS divided by Z. And Z was how much? Root over R square plus XL minus XC whole square. Now try to understand one thing. If I ask you when this current will be maximum, when will the current in the circuit oscillate with maximum amplitude? Because if it has maximum peak value, it will have maximum RMS value also, because RMS value is peak value divided by root 2. So when will be this maximum? This will be maximum when denominator is minimum. Agree or not? Mathematics, simple mathematics. Now this will be minimum when this part is 0. Okay, why, students? Because R is resistance. Resistance we cannot make 0 unless we go for superconducting wires. But forget about superconducting wires. In a normal circuit at normal temperature, resistance cannot be made 0. Therefore, how to make current maximum? Simple, make this quantity 0, minimum. Now for this to be 0, what should happen? XL should be equal to XC. Agree or not? This quantity will be 0 when XL will be equal to XC. What is the formula for XL? L omega. What is the formula for XC? 1 by C omega. Right? Now you cross multiply. Omega square will be 1 by LC. Then omega will be 1 by root over LC. Now, sometimes when students are asked resonant frequency, they will calculate this frequency, which is wrong. This is angular frequency. So we have to convert angular frequency into frequency. How, sir? Omega is 2 pi frequency. So frequency will be omega divided by 2 pi. Now you substitute this omega. So 1 by 2 pi divided by root over LC. So this is the formula for resonant frequency. Understood or not? Simply I just thought of showing you how it comes. So basically resonance means what? The current in the circuit will oscillate with maximum amplitude. And that will happen when the frequency of the source. So at resonance they are asking, right? The frequency is equal to 1 by 2 pi root over LC. So read the question. If they say frequency, use this formula. If they say angular frequency, use this formula. Angular, omega, omega. Now substitute. 2 into 3.14 root over L is how much? 100 millihenry. Milli matlab 10 power minus 3. C is 10 microfarad. 10 power minus 6. Try to keep the power even. So this will be 1 divided by 6.28 into, how much this is? Minus 6, minus 3, minus 9. Then 3 zeros will cancel. So it will be 10 power minus 6. Root over 10 power minus 6. Check once. Everybody please do calculation with me only. So this will be 1 by 6.28. Root of 10 power minus 6 will be 10 power minus how much? Root of 10 power minus 6 will be 10 power minus 3. Okay, because square root means power half. No, then this minus 3 will go up. So let me write it down here. So the first part, the resonant frequency is minus 3, you take up 10 power plus 3 divided by 6.28. So now it is easy, right? You have to divide 1000 divided by 6.28. How much it will come? 1000 divided by 6.28. 159.23. Hey, Sri Gauri, how 15 you are getting? 159.23. 159.23 hertz. Okay, again and again I'm telling, in exam, because of hurriness and all, if they ask frequency, sometimes students will give angular frequency. Those mistakes you don't do. Okay, read the question carefully, answer. Second part will be very, very easy. At resonance, they ask. So at resonance, your Z will be equal to simply R. Why, sir? What happened to that root over formula? Array, XL minus XC, I told, will be 0 at resonance. At resonance. So if XL minus XC is 0, Z will be simply root over R square, and root over R square will be R. So that will be equal to 20 ohm. See, no calculation. Then they also want current. No, they also want current. So current at resonance they want IRMS. That will be VRMS divided by Z. VRMS was 220. Z is equal to R only 20. So I should cancel 20, 20. Like that, you can cancel 20, 20. No. 0, 0, 11. So answer is 11 ampere. Okay, what will you do if in the same question they ask you peak value of current, peak current? So if they ask peak current, you need to multiply IRMS with root 2. Why, sir? Because IRMS is peak value divided by root 2. Okay, na? So depending on whether they are asking peak value or RMS value, you have to look carefully and then use the formula. If they ask peak value, you have to cross multiply. If they want RMS value, you have to divide. So here they want peak value. Finished? Okay. So these are the two standard type of problems that you can expect, standard type. Then let me give you two miscellaneous problems, okay? Two miscellaneous. Okay, so they are based on AC only, but it is not standard type like we did just now. It is little bit conceptual, but it is easy, don't worry. So the first one that I want to do here, question number 3 actually, is they will give you the phase difference. Phase difference is equal to 45 degree in LCR AC circuit. See, I'm writing only the important things, okay? Question you will find in EPL also. So phase difference is given 45 degree in LCR AC circuit. Then they are saying sum, SUM, sum of inductive and capacitive reactance is, let me check, okay, how much it was given. Is 17 ohm. Okay, resistance value is given 10 ohm, and AC source has voltage 120 volt, frequency 100 hertz. Find number 1 L, number 2 C. Now in exam both they will not ask, one of them they will ask. So let me write 4. Okay, so let us see again. Phase difference is given 45 degree in LCR circuit. It is a what kind of circuit? AC circuit. AC circuit will always have some voltage, which is VRMS. Every time 220 they will not give. Whatever they give, you have to write down. So AC source has voltage 120 volt VRMS and frequency 100 hertz. Resistance value they have given. Okay, and they have told the sum, SUM, sum of inductive and capacitive reactance is 17 ohm. Using all this information, you have to find L and C. So let us start. Done. Writing part is done. Soon we will start NEET preparation. Okay, for all the batches at the same time we will start. So how will you start the problem? See, phase difference they have given. So start with the formula with phase difference. What is the formula for phase difference? Tan phi is equal to XL minus XC by R. Right? Okay. Now phi is given 45 degree. Phase difference is given 45 degree. This is given, right, already. R value, how much they told? 10. 10 45 degree is how much? 1. So if you cross multiply, XL minus XC will be equal to 10. This will give you first equation. Very simple. See, nothing is there. So phase difference they gave you. I started with the formula with phase difference. Let me just wait. Okay, internet is little bit unstable. Is the internet fine, students, now? Speed is fine, I mean connection. Okay, before it for some time it went off. Okay. Okay, so see, again I'm telling you, phase difference they have given. No, so use formula with phase difference 10 5. Once you get this, now to find C, see, they told you to find C and L. Now you all know C is hiding in this formula, yes or no? XC is 1 by C omega, yes or no? So in order to find C, I need to find XC. Similarly, if I want L, then L is hiding in this formula, XL. What is XL? L omega. Correct or not? Do not be confused, okay? C omega is in the denominator. L omega is in the numerator. So do not be confused. So to find this or this, I need one more equation. Now in the question they have given, the sum, SUM, of inductive reactance and capacitive reactance, okay, is equal to 17. Yes or no, students? So now using these two, we can calculate XL also, XC also. Let us calculate XL first. So to calculate XL, I will add 1 and 2. So if you add 1 and 2, XL plus XL will be 2XL. XC plus minus XC will be 0. 17 plus 10 will be 27. So from here, XL will be 27 divided by 2. That will be 1, 2, 3s are 6, 2, 5s are 10. So 13.5 ohm. That is your XL. If they ask XL, this here you can stop. But in the question, they have asked L, not XL. So now we will use the formula XL equals to L omega. Omega is 2 pi F. So from here, L we can calculate XL divided by 2 pi F. So XL is 13.5. 2 into 3.14. Frequency, don't have habit of writing 50 hertz all the time. Read the question. In this question, they told 100 hertz. So 100. Okay, so whatever answer comes, that will be Henry. Unit and all, don't forget to mention. Inductance matlab Henry. Capacitance matlab Farad. Anybody, how much we get? 0.0214. Okay. 0.0214 Henry. Okay, so to this one was to find L, remember. Okay, suppose they ask you to find C, then we should not add 1 and 2. We should subtract 1 and 2. So again, I'm telling you, both they will not ask. It will become 10-mark question. So either they can ask L or they can ask C. So let us say we calculate C. So to calculate C, what will I do? I will subtract equation 2 minus equation 1. Because equation 2 has 17. 17 is more, right? So this minus that if I do, what will I get? 2xc equals to 7. Check once, yes or no? Array, what was the other formula? XL minus XC equal to 7. Oh, not 7, 10. So if I subtract, XL minus XL cancel. XC minus XC, 2XC. 17 minus 10, 7. 17 minus 10, 7. Everybody understood this, how I got? Huh. So XC will be equal to 3.5. Okay. So once you found XC, then what formula you will use now? Now you will use XC equals to 1 by C omega. Omega is 2 pi F. And remember, we want C this time. So if you cross multiply, C will be 2 pi F into XC. So this will be 2 into 3.14 into 100 into 3.5. Okay, some 0.00 may come. That you write 10 to the power like that. Don't write the answer as 0.000 something. You write it, but then convert into scientific form. So somebody tell me the answer, I will convert into scientific form. Remember, if they want C, we have to subtract. Zero point 0.000454. 0.000454 Farad. Everybody got this much? Check once. Yeah. Then what will I do? I will take point here. So 4.54 into 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 decimal places. So 10 power minus 4. Minus you write, don't write plus. If you write plus, it will become very large. Okay, so this is one miscellaneous problem I wanted to do. Another miscellaneous problem is there, then transformer, then finished. So this many questions, if you practice for AC, I think you will be able to solve a similar type of question if it comes in exam. Okay. The second kind of problem is again very simple, but not standard problem like we did the first two. So what they will tell you is like this, listen carefully. They will tell you there is a inductor, and when a AC source of 220 volt is applied, a current of 10 ampere flows. Okay, so this information is given. And they will tell when the resistor is connected to the same source. You will find the question in the EPL if you want to see the question, but try to understand, that is more important. When you apply the same source to a resistor, this is inductor, the current that flows here is 22 ampere. Okay. Question is, when these two are connected in series, these two, that time if you apply the same source matlab this will be also 220, then what is the current here? Okay, so that is the question. So in diagram, see how nicely I have given the question and asked also. So how will they say in exam, how will they write? They will say, when a inductor is connected to AC source, a current of 10 ampere flows. When the same source, why same? Because this is 220. When the same source is connected to resistor, a current of 22 ampere flows. Question is, when these two are connected in series to the same source, how much current will flow? Everyone, please tell me, question is clear or not clear? Okay, so let us start. So in the first case, okay, we will use Ohm's law. So this is only single device, single inductor. So your formula was I RMS equal to V RMS divided by Z. But here only inductor is there, only inductor. So XL. Don't write L, okay? XL. The role of resistance is played by inductive reactance, not inductance. So don't write L by mistake here. Many students will write L. This is XL. So how much current flows in the first case? 10 ampere. How much voltage was applied? 220. And the opposition is only by inductor. So XL. So from here, XL will come, cross multiply 220 by 10. So 22 ampere. Oh, sorry, 22 ohm, because this will have same unit as resistance, because just like resistance is voltage by current, this is also voltage by current. So resist unit should be same. Done? Writing part is done. Yeah. So this is the first part of the first case. Now in second case matlab when there is only resistance, that time what will you do? You will replace this by R. Right? Actually Z is there, Z. But in this problem, XL is not there, XC is not there. So only R is there. So therefore this will come. Here the current was how much? 22. This is R. So if you cross multiply, your R will be 220 by 22. That will be 10. So basically from this information, I calculated inductive reactance. From this information, I calculated resistance. Now I can solve for this part. So first case is inductor was alone. Second case, resistor is alone. Third case, this is when L and R are in series. That time they want current. That will be V RMS. Now you should write Z. Now you should write Z. Okay. And Z formula, what will you write? Root over R square plus XL square. Okay. XL minus XC we write. But this time there is no XC. Capacitor is not there. So why will I write XC? XL square. So VRMS, same voltage 220. R, how much we calculated? 10. XL, how much was XL? 22, I think. 22. So IRMS will be equal to 220 divided by root over 100 plus 484. So this will be 220 divided by root of 584. What is the square root of 584 now? 584 square root 24.166. Then I should divide 220 divided by 24.166. 9.104 ampere. Correct. That last digit I made 4 because it is 6. Here that next digit is 6. So these are the two miscellaneous problems which is possible. Many other kinds of problems are also there. So no, entrance when we will do NEET preparation we will start. No, so that time you will learn more miscellaneous problems. Standard problems already I told you what comes in board exam. Sometimes they may change 1 or 2 questions, right? So even if they do that, you should be able to solve problems from AC. Finish, students, this one. Then I will tell you the last type. The last type is transformer. Okay. So the 1, 2, 3, 4. So the fourth type of problems that can come is based on transformer. So in transformer, if you remember, there is a primary, there is a secondary. So they may tell you number of turns in primary is 100. Number of turns in secondary is, let's say, 900. Okay. And voltage applied in primary is, let's say, 400 volt. You have to find voltage in the secondary. Okay. So these letters which I have written, I hope all of you understood what they mean, because theory part we completed last class. So number of turns in primary, number of turns in secondary, voltage applied in primary, they may ask you voltage in the secondary. Then they can tell you if efficiency of transformer is 90%. Efficiency of transformer is 90%. Find current in secondary, matlab IS. If current in primary is equal to 2 ampere. Okay, so one part is here, another part is here. Then only 5 mark question comes. No, only this if I ask how it will be 5 mark. Finished? Okay. So here is very simple, students. The first part is based on the formula in transformer. If you remember, Vs by Vp equals to Ns by Np. Okay, so you can write, we know that. Okay, so now you can just substitute. Vs we have to find. Vp is 400 volt. Ns is 900. Np is 100. So Vs is 3600 volt. Correct or not? Check. This is step up or step down? Step up, because we have increased the voltage. After that, we have to find current in the secondary. But remember, they told efficiency is 90%, not 100%. If it was 100%, we call that kind of transformer ideal transformer, ideal. But here it is not mentioned like that. So here what we will do for second part, we will write the formula for efficiency. We will give symbol eta. Efficiency of any device is always output power by input power. Okay, so this formula we should know. So efficiency will be output power. Power is current into voltage. Okay, from there only I square R comes. I square R, see, I square R, I can write I into R. I into R. I into R we can write V. So power I can write current into voltage. Output power I can write output current. Output is secondary or primary, S or P? Output is S, secondary or primary? Secondary, right? So output is IS VS and input power is IP VP. Now what is the efficiency mentioned? 90%. So 90% means 90 by 100. Okay, this is the meaning of 90%. IS we have to calculate. VS was 3600. Just now we calculated. See, IP they told 2. VP was 400. So this will be 9. So if you cross multiply, here you will get IS into 9 into 100, 900. And here you will get 90 into 2. So this will be 90 tens. So IS will be 2 by 10. 0.2 ampere. Check one, students, correct or not correct? Finally, if they say ideal transformer, ideal, then what you do, you just write here 1. In place of this, you write 1. Okay. So if they say ideal transformer, then you write efficiency equal to 1. So this completes the numericals. Okay. So now what we will do is ray optics. We will start one derivation. At least we can do one derivation. So in ray optics, again we have I think 2 3-mark question, 2 or 3 3-mark question, and similarly 2 and 3 I think 3 5-mark question. So total around 6 important derivations are there which we have to do. But again, before we do derivations and all, main derivations we will start next class only. But today I will just give you the main concept in ray optics. So the main concept is reflection is deleted, reflection. So we can start directly from refraction. So in refraction, what happens? There will be some boundary. The boundary is called interface. Interface. Okay, now. So this is medium 1. This is medium 2. No need to write this part. Just try to understand. Now, every medium has a refractive index. So let us say this medium has refractive index N1. This medium has refractive index N2. And how do you define refractive index? It is defined as C by V. So refractive index is defined as speed of light in vacuum by speed of light in that medium. So if refractive index is more, speed of light will be less. Okay, now, so try to remember that. So wherever refractive index is more, we call such medium denser medium. Okay, so if refractive index is more, we call it denser medium. And the reason why we do like that is because look at this formula. If refractive index is more, light will travel faster or slower? Faster or slower? Look at this formula and tell. Slower it will travel, right? So if it will travel slower, it means like, you can say the medium is very dense. So light is not able to travel fast because the medium is very dense. The market is full of people. Something like that you can imagine. So refractive index is velocity of light in vacuum by velocity of light in medium. So when light will come like this is called incident ray. Then at this point, you have to first draw a normal. Then this angle is called angle of incidence, angle between incident ray and normal. Now light can go either straight or it can go away from the normal, or it can come towards the normal. What will happen? That is decided by Snell's law. How do you write Snell's law? We write Snell's law like this. This N1 is the refractive index of the medium where there is which ray? Incident ray. So we write N1 sin I equals to N2 is where refracted ray. Refracted ray will have angle of refraction. So N1 sin I equals to N2 sin I. Now look at this formula. If I say N2 is greater than N1, if this number is greater than this number, then this number should be greater than this number or smaller. In multiplication, if one number is greater, other number should be smaller, right? That is how Boyle's law works, right? Pressure into volume, if it remains constant, then what does it mean? If pressure increases, volume decreases. So if N2 is more, then sin R should be less than sin I. Matlab, R should be less than I. R should be less than I means light should go this way. Then only your R will be less than I. Yes or no? See, R is less than I. So whenever light travels from low refractive index to high refractive index, low refractive index means what I told? Rarer medium. High refractive index, I told you here, see, high refractive index means denser medium. Denser medium. So when light travels from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. That is the main thing you should remember. If you know that, it is very, very easy. Okay, and after that, what you should write? N1 sin I equals to N2 sin I. That is your Snell's law. Now tell me what happens if light travels from denser to rarer, ulta. Then it will bend towards or away. Rarer to denser, it bends towards. So denser to rarer, it will bend away. Okay, so that is what you should remember. So that is the main idea behind this Snell's law. Now, from exam point of view, what is very important for us? For exam point of view, what is very important for us is this question. Conditions for TIR to take place and derive sine of critical angle is 1 by refractive index. So they will ask you derive this formula, or for 2 mark they can ask you this question. Conditions. So what are the conditions? Let us check carefully. First, let's do derivation. Let us derive this formula. So look carefully. This is your boundary. Okay. Now, let us assume incident ray is coming like this. This is the normal at the point of incidence. Since this is incident ray, this angle will be angle of incidence. Now let me tell, this is denser medium and this is rarer medium. Then how it will bend? I told denser to rarer. It will bend away from the normal. Right, students? This has refractive index, let's say N1, or let's say just N, ND, and this is NR. So D stands for denser medium, R stands for rarer medium. Now you can see R is more than I. Yes or no? So if I increase this angle, this angle also should increase according to Snell's law. So see what will happen as I increase this angle. See, like this happens. After that, if I further increase, it will become like this. So the light will be internally, it will be reflected. Even if this is just a boundary, it is not a mirror. It's not a mirror, just a normal boundary between water and air, let's say. So if you keep increasing the angle of incidence, when the angle of incidence becomes equal to critical angle, that time your light will not go like this. Your light will go parallel to the surface. And that time your R will be how much? R will be how much? Nisarga? Nisarga, how much will be R? Yeah, 90 degree. Okay. So, how to derive this formula? Simple. Start from Snell's law. So, using Snell's law, remember, This refractive index is incident ray, which makes angle C, but this is angle I, remember. So ND sine I equals NR sine R. Okay, this is just your Snell's law. N1 sine I equals to N2 sine R. Okay, that you have to match. N1 sine I and N1 and sine I should be in the same medium. So N1 sine I is equal to N2 sine R. But in place of N1, N2, I wrote ND, NR. When I becomes equal to critical angle, R will be equal to 90 degree. Okay, substitute this. So sine of I is critical angle, R is 90 degree. Right, sine 90 degree is 1. So sine C, sine of critical angle, will be equal to NR by ND. But they told 1 by N, right? That is because in NCERT, they have taken the rarer medium. The rarer medium as air. So at the last step, you can say if rarer medium is air, then NR will be 1. Right? And for denser medium, let me simply write N only, because no need to write NR, ND now, because NR is 1. So for denser medium, I will write N only. So the formula will become sine C will become NR is 1. Denser medium, I have written N. Okay. So this is the relation between critical angle and refractive index of denser medium when the rarer medium is air. If it is not air, then this formula we should mention. This is the formula. That's why I write this one. So this is important for your entrance exams also. Then what are the two conditions? The first condition you see, the light must travel from denser to rarer. Why, sir? Look here. If light travels from rarer to denser, then it will bend towards the normal. If it bends towards the normal, then even if you increase this light will go like this. So it will not touch the surface first. This will touch the surface first, not this one. Okay, now so there is no chance of TIR. So TIR happens when light travels from denser to rarer. So the first condition is what? This is very important, okay? First condition is light should travel from denser to rarer. Okay, that you will find in the EPL notes. And number 2, the angle of incidence should be greater than critical angle. The angle of incidence should be greater than critical angle. Okay, so what we will do now next class is this part we have done. Using Snell's law only, we will derive refraction through spherical surface. Once we do for spherical surface, we will do for lens. That is called lens maker formula. Once we do for single lens, we will do for 2 lenses in contact. Then we will do for prism. And then we will draw some ray diagram for compound microscope and simple microscope and telescope. Derivations are not needed for those 3. Simple microscope, compound microscope, telescope, derivations are not needed. But ray diagram they can ask for 2 mark. So we will practice those ray diagrams. Then myopia, hypermetropia ray diagrams will practice. That's it. Okay. So thank you for today. Yeah, thanks everyone. And soon we will start NEET. Okay, I know some students they want NEET only, but let me just revise. That is also important. Board revision also important.